Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and hello, it's me. I'm here. I don't remember the last time I commentated on GT Racing. It was a while ago. Well, look who it is, brought back again, and it's me, Mr. Evil Dragon. And good news, everyone, for the second time this series, because our normal host, Mr. Daxi, he is unavailable. He's been unavailable for the last couple of races. So, Ash has dragged me in the commentary box because apparently I'm not allowed to drive. I'm dangerous and I cause incidents. So, I've been hired into the commentary box, which is normal. I'll probably end up doing better up here anyway. And obviously here today we have all of our drivers, and there is I can see 8 of them. At least. There's probably many more. I think we are waiting for a few more to jump into the lobby in a few months' time. But in terms of who is doing what in this lovely, lovely series, and who's doing what in the well, not the constructors, I mean the constructors, but who's doing what in the drivers' standings, it is Xavier McIntosh leading this field on so far, 90 points. He is being the man of the mission. John Thompson alongside him on 79, with Mr. Ethan Graham on 73, 10 points ahead of Rob Schowler, who is on respectively 63 points. Lewis Edwards on 49 ahead of Mr. Piper on 45. Then we've got Stuart on 44 ahead of Mr. Joseph Willows, and then comes Catinius, or as someone calls him, Alex, on 38 points. The unluckiest man, mainly because I keep punting him off, Ashley Sharp, is on 36 points, 32 points for Rob Adams, and some bloke called Evil on 16 because he got disqualified last round for infringement of the track limits. We'll say that much. But qualifying just about to begin right now as we get ready to go, and I can press the nice spectate button. There we go. There, thank you, spectate button. It works. This game's good. There we go. And now I can see everything. I was worried the game's going to crash. Everyone comes out the pit there at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and now we can get ourselves all nice and going again for 10 minutes here in qualifying. That, and straight out of the pit lane is Splaston. This circuit first hosted raised, by the way, back in the 1970s, the old Austria ring, as it was formerly known, all the way up until 1986 in terms of that circuit. And then, of course, it went under a major change, of course, to the layout we more commonly see today. Of course, came back in 1997 in F1. It did run more races around that time in other series as well. The A1 track, of course, the A1 GP as well. And of course, that dropped off the F1 calendar 2004, and of course, kept hosting races all the way up until 2010, I believe it was, from memory serves. Like, went off the calendar for a couple of years because it was in a bit of disrepair again, of course, and then RedBull brought it out in 2012, and of course, since then, it has made a triumphant comeback, of course, and it's a lovely place, the RedBull Ring, home of many Austrian fans and normally lots of Dutchies that sit on the grandstand opposite us right now. In terms of corner names, well, there's quite a lot of them, and I always get them all wrong because they keep changing on me. But what I do know is turn 1 was called Louder, but then turn 7 is called Louder, and then turn 5 is called Louder. So there's a lot of Louders around this circuit, but I'll get you through, of course, all of that in due course. But the crucial thing is, who is going to be on pole position? We have 8 drivers, and crucially, no Xavier McIntosh. He is not here today. That is what it seems. So no Xavier, but everyone else is here. So this is all going to allow everyone who, well, is a little bit further back in the standings to jump up a few positions as well, which is always quite key around here, especially if your name is the likes of John Thompson, who is currently sitting himself down in 6th position. He comes through turn 1, a little bit over the curve right there. Now, in terms of track limit, 2 wheels on the white line at turn 1, at turn 9, and at turn 10. So you can't go all 4 wheels off, but you can go at least 2 wheels off. So that's going to be the key thing to watch this afternoon to make sure everyone keeps themselves all within track limits and all nice and dandy. John, a little bit slidey on the exit, but takes the yellow sausage, and away he goes for the spam can of destruction. And I will say it's a lovely livery, the Mr. Spam Can. Some might disapprove. I mean, I don't like spam 100% too much, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, if my life depended on it, I guess I'd eat it. Otherwise, I wouldn't. I mean, he's going to be the man who hopefully can get himself back in this championship hunt. First across the line, meanwhile, that will be Mr. Katinus, or Splash, or Alex, or whoever you want to call him these days. If you're Adam Piper, it's Alex. because he doesn't know names at all. And I know he probably can hear me because everyone can normally hear me in this one as well, because I know some people listen to the stream whilst racing, so I hope everyone has some fun. As here's Splash for the last corner, keep it within track limit. Yes, he does, as well as Lewis right behind him. Here comes Katina Clem through the last corner. The first lap time will be, I think, it's going to be a 39.3. It is a 39.2. Lewis, 8 times quicker straight away then. He is the man who is looking ominous today as he comes through into turn 1. Rotary or Ethan in third. And then we've got Joseph Willows in 5th ahead of John Thompson, who now jumps to the 4th. Adam Piper into 5th. Then Rob Charlotte down in 7th. Ashley at the back so far did not set a fully competitive first lap, I believe. So I think he's actually just came out of the pit lane, actually. So first blood to Lewis. Second now is up to Ethan. And that lovely livery, by the way, the Simrigs livery, which has got, of course, the black, gold, and the lovely pink. I will say it's a splashing livery, I must say, for all of the people there, of course, where Ethan currently works as well. The STP livery, meanwhile, of Mr. Splash. He is a livery that always looks pretty. An STP livery, of course, kind of in the baby blue as well, with the slight orange. Some always consider the golf liveries around that, but the STP always loves a good livery like that, of course. Then behind them, we've got John Thompson in that spam livery. Then we've got Adam Piper in his technical dream coat. Wow, dreaming. As number 2 driver, Rob Mark II, has joined. So it looks like we are going to get some more people in qualifying. So he'll have 30 minutes to qualify for him. Rob in the Benson and Hedges Jordan from, I believe, it is 2001. Potentially that, or it's the 1998 or 99 livery. It's always difficult. The Jordan liveries to me are always something that absolutely are beautiful. Has no order changes so far in the order, apart from the order which has just changed, and that is Groot or Rob improving ahead of Joseph Willows by 100,000th of a second. Does Joseph say no thank you very much? No, he does not. 6 seconds down, and as across the line that 1.6 seconds adrift so far. It is still Adam Piper now actually in second position, so he is now on the front row of the grid. From Rotary, Ethan in third so far, 90 thousandths ahead, 90 thousandths behind to to Katinas, which I still can't pronounce his first name because I've never been able to, so I shall call him Mr. Katinas now for the rest of time. John Thompson, he is in 5th so far, and then still ahead of Rob in 6th. That 1,000th of a second could be crucial for where he wants to start this race, because, well, it will decide whether he starts in 6th or 7th. And then we've got Ash in 8th, and then Rob, the other Rob Mark II, with his OnlyFans livery, the number 3, and you can tell that is the number 3, of course, from Dale Earnhardt's car. The red and the white little bit there, of course, so the livery was completely black. It had a good rent, so I know you could tell the difference. And of course, Rob, sponsored by OnlyFans today, he's probably got one, you never know. But meanwhile, the Blimley Mega Chippy comes through the last corner, just about keeping himself in track limits. He comes up behind. That is John Thompson at the road as he improved 3 attempts down on his lap time. We've got Adam, who has decided he wants to stop on the circuit. Ethan does not improve. Splash, neither. John Thompson comes up to the line. Let's see what he can do with just under 3 minutes to go in qualifying. Rob doesn't improve. Joseph Willows next across the line. I think Rob actually does slightly improve. He's now 2.25 attempts ahead. As across the line doesn't improve either. Rob Mark II on his outlap as well. So let's see what he can do as he comes through the last couple of corners then to start this lap time then. And it's always going to be quite crucial when you're late into the session to get it right, to get the job done. And let's see what he can do then. Breaks it down into turn number 1. Safe gear down into 4th, down into 3rd. Chucking it over the cup, rear end a little bit skaty there as he heads over the cup. 2 will just a thing over the limit right there, but he lost more time than he would have gained. So he's going to have to go bounce back in all of that one then. So let's see what he can do as he now comes up into turn number 3. Again, late braking down there as you chuck it back into 3rd, down into 2nd gear. Just about gets the rotation in there on the front action. Of course, these front-wheel drive cars. It's going to be quite interesting to see exactly how they get the power on, exactly what they do, and exactly how they do it. It's now down into turn number 5. Late brakes again, down into third. Might just grab second if you need to get the front end turned in. We use the third just to get the power back out on the exit. He's now come into a corner, which I've seen many overtake before, and it is turn 6 and into 7, if I'm not too mistaken. That's 8, 9, and 10. Yes, it is. As let's see, keeps it within the track limits. Yes, he does. Can run a little bit wider now if he wants to, but keeps it all nice and straight. Keep it left. Now you can exit up the open and all the way down on the exit of 8 into 9 and 10. These two corners, of course, track limit will be key this afternoon. Let's see who keeps himself and doing what. That's CeeLo for Rob, and that'll look a little bit outside track limits there, in my opinion, but I'm not sure, of course, from the onboard cam. That looks a lot better through the exit of the last corner and up to the line. Let's see where he can go. He's hoping for a top 7. Stays 8th position so far. Joseph Willows in 9th. But tell you what, that's meanwhile in 6th position with just under a minute to go. I think that will be qualifying. Maybe done. We've got just over, was it half a minute? No, so no one will be able to set a lap time unless you are just coming to the last corner now. So I believe that will be the car of Adam Piper. He'll be the last car to be able to set a lap time, and as he comes through the last corner, is it any decent of a lap time? No, that's very wide, that's very off track limits, and that, I'm afraid, will not count if he does improve. I think he might get himself in trouble for that one. I don't think he will improve. No, yes he does, by 7/100,000 with some track limit violations. And yes, remember, keep 2 wheels within the track limits. As here we go then, last corner, as there is Splash. No, sorry, there is Rotary off track limits as well, and the session should begin right now. Splash across the line, so we should be just waiting for the session to begin. It was a 10-minute direct counter, so it should be beginning right now. Ethan goes and parks it off at turn number 1 and gets absolutely decimated by Rob up the rear, and there is qualifying done. There goes John. He's finished his lap time. Is now watch. And there we go. So he's not going to finish lap time because we are officially beginning. So here we go then. Slightly dark in conditions. The light above the circuit. All ready to go then. We've got 8 drivers, 12 racing laps. And let's see who is going to get the fastest start. 1, 2, 3, 4. When the 5 goes off, we'll be underway then here in Austria. Look, but never stare, because we are off then. Looks like a good start from Lewis. Definitely ahead of Splash there. He got a little bit of a bog then down towards turn 1. Are we going to see anyone diving up the inside? In the background, Joseph has, I think that's, that might be Rob having a bad start actually at the back of the order. But Lewis leads from Splash into turn number 1. Then becomes Adam and Ethan up the hill. Then we got almost 3 abreast in the background then, as that is Splash, is Ash, John and Rob going 3 by 3 as they come up to the hill, now shuffling about 2 by 2 as they come down into the corner. Everyone just about keeping themselves into order. That's going a little bit wide off the road there. I don't believe there was any contact. Comes back on just ahead of Joseph. Well, there's a little bit of contact on the exit, but keeps himself all in good nick. So no one having a major issue at the first couple of corners here today. He now coming to the braking zone. Adam Piper there battling with Ethan on the outside. It's always a tricky corner to go around the outside. Ethan having to back out of it, looks like that. As now looking up the inside and potentially John Thompson. Can't quite do it. Now has to sit behind him, and then Rob Schaller not too far ahead of Joseph Willows. Ash down in 8th, and then comes Rob the 2nd down in 9th. But Lewis doing what he needs to do right now. A bit of lag, which is always the merry thing you'll see here today. And of course, that is just the game having a little bit twitchiness. Though to be fair, not as bad, which I've seen in previous weeks, which is always good to see. And hopefully, I've not just put the commentator's cast on there, but Lewis already pulling out a 5/10 lead. Though track limits for 1, 2, 3 drivers straight away then. So 3 drivers already in trouble. And I believe it was 3 warnings. Then you start picking up penalties, so they want to be careful with it then as you come down into turn number 1. Lewis is just about, and there's a second one for Lewis, so he wants to be careful. There's 2 already off track limits. So he needs to be careful. Is now Splash length, 0.2 of a second coming up behind now. Is he going to think about any potential moves right now? Is he just going to think long game? Lewis is already on 2 warnings. A few on run. It looks like already Stewart might be a little bit interested in some driving there. Of course, that corner you can run a little bit wide on as long as you do not exceed track limits too much and do not take the proverbial mick out of it is the words. There was other words they said about that one. I got told last week, but I can't repeat them. But of course, it's all about being careful right now, as you can see through the order. Ethan currently in 4th position off the road going, and that is John Thompson. Now, what has happened there for John Thompson? Has he outbraked himself, which is an easy to do at turn 4, or has he had some help? He would have been near Joseph and potentially Rob as well, but it's very easy to snag a brake and go straight on there as well. Now into the last corner for the second, well, to the second time to begin the 3rd lap, and again, track limits there for 1 or 2, 3 of them then. Keeping it just about track limits. Again, Lewis just running a little bit wide there, and he needs not to keep doing this. This is going to be crucial for his race. He's run wide, I think, nearly every lap he's come through that. As we run on board, if the game will let me go on board with another cut. No, it won't. Let me see if I back out and then back in. Hopefully I can have the... no, it's not going to let me change cameras anymore. Okay, never mind. Well, I was going to say I'll change cameras, but the game's decided it doesn't want to let me do that, as per usual. I like when it does that. And, meanwhile, Rotary battling with Adam Piper down on the brakes, and Adam's going to come back up the inside, steamrolling through. Ethan says, thank you very much, nearly, but has to get out of it, and it's a shame I can't get the onboard camera to work, unfortunately, so we'll be stuck on the outboard cams. For the time being, none of the buttons seem to be working for changing them, which is a real shame right there, unfortunately, as we look down through the order. There's a few little cars going a bit deep here and there. Rob in 5th position, meanwhile, coming back up through the order ahead of the other Rob, as Joseph Willows is all out of shape, and he keeps himself just on the island right there. And is he going to be still having a potential up the inside of Ash? No, he thinks better off going back up the inside into a corner, which Ash has seen many, well, it's become many a crop or two into that corner before as well. He's come a crop in nearly every corner in the world, I imagine, especially if he's near me. But luckily, he's not near me right now, so he can't go off the road. I say that, he has just gone off the road nearly, right there, but he's still just about there or thereabouts. He did went off on lap number 1, but still, that's always a potential issue on lap number 1. You're always going to be funneled out. Still, Katinas right behind Edwards into turn number 1. Katinas meanwhile 37.7 last lap. Lewis last lap of 38.0. So top 2 starting to pull away from the gaggle of Piper and Graham as he comes down towards turn number 1 and 2. And on the grass is Katinas. He's always on the grass, and you gotta leave a space, Lewis. As he goes back into the slipstream. Now back out of the slipstream. And no, he still can't do it. Back into the slipstream, but he was 2 wheels on the grass right there. Is up the inside. Now Ethan then. Has he got the potential this time? Is he going to do the old switcheroo? Still can't quite do it. Adam holding his line. Firm and fair, it looks like, from here. And now Ethan's going to sliver. He's going to do the dummy. Force him left, then go right. And let's see, is he going to go suddenly switch back out? Now he's going to stick to the outside line. Then a risky strategy, because you're always going to come into contact potentially there. Indeed, there was a tiny bit of contact right there. Couldn't quite do it. And now just has to sit back and relax and regroup himself. And what he's just got to try and do is get Adam, who is often the driver who can make a mistake here and there, to just make that critical mistake. And when he does, Ethan, who is a driver with sublime performance half the time, will be straight through. Saying that, Adam Piper off the road, then now's the opportunity he's looking for. And now to the inside line. That's what he needed to do. And straight away, like you say, through he goes, then up into 3rd position. So, Adam, exactly when I said he needed not to make a mistake, made the critical mistake. Went wide, hit the grass, hit the gravel, and lost any momentum it got. And these cars, very momentum based. Still, Edwards and Katinas up front still can't quite get past. Is Katinas then, as he come into turn number 1. Lewis, though, taking more scenic routes through turn number 1 than I did last week. So he must be careful, because I got a penalty for going, well, I say that, I wasn't off track limits. I was I was in the track limits. Let's see, though, out or in. Is he going to go up the inside this time? Nope, still can't quite do it. Lewis then holds the brakes, holds the line. He's a little bit deep this time. No, keeps it still within track limits. Still on the brakes. He's driving very decently despite a few technical infringements so far. Further down the order, we have got Rob in 5th. We've got Rob the 2nd in 6th. Then is John Thompson. He's dropping back, still battling with Joseph Willows. And Ash Sharp down now in 9th position. As here we are, Joseph Willows up the inside then into turn number 4. And let's see how this one goes as John holds the line on the outside and has got the job done. Asler currently down in 9th, not too far behind these Gagala cars. And you know, Ash is always a driver that if there is a chance for an overtake, he will take it. He's not going to be a driver who sits down and waits. If he sees the opportunity, he will go for it. The question is, when do you go for it around here? And he's tried it there on turn number 7. Couldn't quite do it right now. So, back to the leaders. It is Edwards and Katinas honking the horn for one of them, flashing the light as well. Careful, you can't be doing it too much. Katinas is apparently against the rules of flashing lights for too many opportunities. But there, Lewis running a little bit wide there, a little bit on the curb, keeps it still, just about going in the right direction. But I think Katinas getting a bit frustrated here for potential track limits infringements for Edwards. There is a potential chance that, and he's holding on to it. We are at half race distance here in race number 1. Don't forget race 2, reverse race distance. Edwards though a little bit deep on the brakes that time around, and now it's an opportunity. No, still not. He still defends it well, and is Splash now going to suddenly dive to the inside line? He thinks about it. Is he got a nose there? No, he doesn't. Still can't quite do it. Has to sit back yet again. But Edwards there a little bit wide, but that's not going to matter too much because the next corner, a left hand up, still holds the line. Adam and Ethan. Ethan still in 3rd. Adam in 4th. Then comes Groot in 5th still. Further down the rest of the field, looks like these Gagala cars have separated. So we'll keep an eye then on your top 2. And it is Lewis who is doing what he needs to do so far. A little bit squiggly on the power and a little bit twitchy there. There was a bit of lag kicking in potentially as you come back into the last couple of corners for now the 6th time. And look at this, right up the ring now. Now, the question is he going for it this time around? The answer? Well, the answer is a resounding yes to the inside. Late braking for Katinas. Lewis on the outside. Can't quite do it, but they hit each other. They have touched. Lewis into the back of Katinas. They keep about going in a straight line. But contact there. Lewis trying the up and under. Couldn't quite work. Ends up hitting him. Katinas leads then here in Austria on lap 7 of 12. With a superlative dive into turn number 1 as Adam Piper to the outside line. Eva's got to have that one. He'll run him out of road if he can. Won't quite do it. Goes a bit deep. Adam then broke a little bit early to try and get the undercut. Can't quite do it. And Izzy got an opportunity down into 4th. 3/10 off a second. He'll be brave to take a dive from there. But I think he'll think better of it. Meanwhile, talking of dives, Lewis almost into the rear bumper there of Katinas. Adam can't quite do it either. Rob, meanwhile, catching onto the back of these two as well. Doing a fabulous job is Rob coming back through this field. So is the other Rob as well. 6th and 5th respectively. John, who's dropping down your, well, potential could be championship leader had things gone his way so far. He is not having his afternoon so far in the sun, well, in the evening, in the twilight here at Austria. As we now continue up through the hills and, well, they are the sound of alive of a Civic touring car. And it is certainly the Civics that are bringing the action right now. But it's Katinas who is bringing the heat and the darkness at the Styrian Alps. As I say, that little bit track limits. Again, there's another driver who's having a few track limits violations, it seems, this afternoon. These two taking lumps out of each other. Meanwhile, here we see Adam Piper. And is he close enough to have a potential look up the inside of turn number 1? Thinks of it. Does know better to go up the inside there when he hasn't got an opportunity. But on the exit, has a better exit as well. Couldn't quite do it. Look, had to still sit back and relax and He wants to get this move done. Ethan just doesn't seem to have the pace, but Ethan's the one who's been keeping it more in track limits than these top two. Is Adam thinking of a move into turn number 3? Yes, he is up the inside. Late braking, or Dale Edmonds on a shot. Couldn't quite make it, and Ethan opens the door up slightly and says, through you go. You're not going to go it like that, sunshine. Try again next lap. And he'll continue, and in fact, will open the gap ever so slightly. Meanwhile, I thought for a second, Splash and Lewis getting a bit more closer right there. 0.2 of a second. These two heating up for one final potential battle this afternoon with action up and down the hill. No real drama though. We've seen one or two cars having mistakes here and there. Of course, stewards will have to be looking. They will be looking at any incident that will be reported to them, and especially track limits. That's always an opportunity to be looked at as well. Like we said, I'm not sure how many track limit violations before you pick up penalties, but there's certainly been quite a few, it seems like, for some of these drivers I have noticed, but they seem to be cooling themselves down ever so slightly, as long as they... Never mind. They immediately go off track. Not by much, but remember, it was only 2 wheels you're allowed off that, and indeed they were pushing it all 4 wheels off that, so they might get an infringement there. These two really pushing each other to the absolute limit again there. Splash a little bit wide, a little bit off track limits, and then we're going to see Lewis dive out the toe then. Which way? He's just about pushing. Now he's going to go left then. A bit of contact looks like, or a little bit twitchy now. He's going to go to the inside line. Still can't quite do it. And he's going to have to try and think of it. Is he going to dive up the inside? No, he's not, but there we go. Continues a little bit wide on the exit. Now is Lewis got any ounce of speed in the Civic? No, he hasn't. He still has to step behind, but now he's going for the inside line. Now he has the opportunity, and this is the opportunity that he is looking for to regain the lead. Then here in Styria to the inside line, a bit of contact, but he gets the job done. Down the inside line he goes, and that is what he needed to do then. And Lewis now leads then again in Austria, as these two having a bit of a ding-donger in so far. Further down, Rotary or Ethan so far in third ahead of Adam Piper. Currently relying on that 4th position and still hoping for a sliver of opportunities. Hoping for the smallest sliver of a mistake from Ethan. Which what he made earlier on, which he's probably most certainly dreading on. It's just not working for him right now. We need to try something. We are running out of laps. As he gets a bit closer, even a little bit wide, but again keeps of himself within track limits, and these guys doing what the top 2 just seem to not be able to do so far this race. And it's been a few though for Ethan and Adam. They might get themselves caught up, but they certainly be doing a bit better of a job than the top 2. I'll say that much. Meanwhile, further down the field, you can see Rob dropping back a little bit right now as he come up through turn number 1 and 2, a little bit wide there for Adam. And I tell you what, if I was him, I'd back off a little bit right there, because he has used track limits just to get alongside, and he won't be able to get the move done right now unless he takes a dive. Is he going up the inside? No, he thinks better of it, or is he going to dive one now to the inside line? Yes, he is. He got the car stopped. Yes, he has. Even a bit of contact, but to be honest there, Adam used track limits on the exit of turn number 1. Really gone alongside Ethan. They'd kind of been able to use that to be able to pass him, and suppose that could be a question there. Is Ethan going to come back up the inside though? Yes, he is. He's not going to sit down and take him over. He's back up the inside. A superlative dive, to be fair, as well. Gets the job straight back done. And these two now going to close in. Is Adam thinking about a move then? Ethan moving one way to the other, just holding his line like you're about to do. One move then to the inside, of course. It's a curving corner as well, so that will make it does look like it's doing more than one move, but it is indeed just one static maneuver, which is all good to see. Adam though, he's gonna have to think of something else, and he's got to make it legal. And that's the crucial thing here. If he's gonna make a move, he's got to make sure he keeps within track limits, or he's got to try and get up the inside of him and not force him to make a mistake. Meanwhile, 7/10 the gap between the first and second, so these two have separated a bit for the time being. As now here we see Adam Piper. Ethan goes to the inside, as Adam now goes even further to the inside. He's almost in the pit wall then, as they go hugging it to the inside. Adam into turn 1. Has he got the car stopped? Yes, he has got the car stopped, but not well enough. Ethan says thank you very much, Sonny Jim, and goes back through then into third position. Adam is getting frustrated. I sense in the cockpit the number 99, Rob Schauder, now going to go for the move then. And Adam, who was looking for one, might be losing one. As here we see to the outside line, and there is Rob Schauder trying to go on the outside. Can't quite do it. Adam Piper there holds his line. A bit of contact, a little bit of argy-bargy. That never hurt the world. Rob Mark 2 was called into the back of these guys, and 2 become 4 all of a sudden then. And these now guys going to be going battle then here as he come into the night time. Rob Shannon up the inside. Adam Piper dropping another position down and make that maybe 2 then. And we're going to see Rob Mark 2 then. Rob Adams to the outside then. That'd be brave as Adam going to go back to the inside line into turn number 6. I think he has got the inside line. Has he kept it all together? Yes, he has. He's still there. Yes, he is. Do they survive it? Yes, they do. Fantastic battling here as they go side by side through the corner. And now all of a sudden Rob Mark 2 back into this battle. And now you'll get Rob Schauder again. Is he going to look to the inside? No, he can't quite do it. We are coming on to the last lap of this race. And they're all off the road there. They're all off the road. Adam Piper off the road. Very much off the road. I think Rob was off the road, as well as Rob Adams off the road, it looked like as well. All 3 of them, they're taking nails out of each other. They're taking lumps and hammers to each other's bodies, and their cars going to be turned into reservoir debris. Potentially, meanwhile, Edwards, he's leading this race. 6 the gap then from Katinas in second. He's driven a fine race, those top 2, but potential steward inquiries for track limit violations for them could be potentially coming later on. Adam Piper in 4th ahead of Rob Mark 2, though let's see what the original, you might say, can do. Is Rob going to be able to do anything down into turn number 4 then? Is he going to think of a dive? It's going to be a little bit late, but he's got the opportunity if he wants it. He's going to go for it then to the inside line. Do they hit each other? They do. Rob there forced a little bit wide. Now, are we going to see, is Rob going to lift off there? It was a little bit marginal. Looked like for a second he was potentially, but I think he might be fine. They were alongside each other into the brakes. They were there. There was Rem just about on the outside. Rob had the corner. The other Rob, well, Rob Adams couldn't quite do it. But meanwhile, into the last 2 corners, these 2 have closed right up. A ding-dong battle for the win in Austria for race number 1. But it's going to go the way for Lewis Edwards. But there is an asterisk over that one for track limits potentially, as well as Katinas with track limits. There's going to be a little bit of a review after this one for a few drivers. Ethan will cross the line in 3rd, Adam in 4th, Growler in 5th, ahead of Adams, who handbrakes across the line. They're not allowed to do that in 6th. I think he's been collected by John Thompson. Then comes Joseph Willows in 8th, and Ash down in 9th position then. So, there is your order, and it is Edwards on that top step then for race number 1. But with another race still to come, there is a lot to be seen. And is there a way I can see who did what? I'll save the replay, of course, for later lose. Can I see where the order is? I don't think you can. Is there an option? I don't think there's an option, is there? No, there isn't an option. And then you can see what the weather is. It is sunny. It's a shame, Ash. You should have said it potential rain. It would have been entertaining. There was a little bit of rain then, here and there, but no rain for the drivers right now, as we now have a few minute break before we get into qualifying, which will start in just a few moments' time. So whilst we just wait then, and then we course and think of that battle then, and a lot of action up and down the field, a bit of contact here and there, but apart from that, it's been a superlative drive from quite a lot of them. Good battle then between Splash, we might say Katinas for his real name, and Edwards for 1st and 2nd, Ethan and Piper battling around. As well, you saw the others guys battle, both the Robs going at it. We saw the likes of Ash, Joseph Willows battling as well. We'll see what happens after this race. I might have missed a few bits and bobs, but it looked like a very decent drive apart from a few track limits, which is always going to be the key around it. It's easy to do as we wait now for the next race to begin in just a few moment's time. And there we go, room being prepared, and there we go then. So we are back then, and qualifying will begin straight away. If you are remembering, qualifying begins right now. You have until, I think it's 45-minute pass to set your respective lap time. Now the question is, can I get the ability to ride on board? Race start at 20:36. I was about to correct him. They're saying, you mean 46? No, he's correct himself. 46, set to 20:46. 10 minutes time until session begins. And then, of course, we'll get the last race this afternoon. Then, here today, of course, another set of qualifications for all your drivers. And some coming out a little bit later than others. Some coming out a little bit later. In terms of what the weather is going to be, by the way, that's going to be the interesting thing. And it's going to be cloudy, hazy, and then thick clouds and cloudy and warmy. No chance of rain ahead of the drivers then for this race. As good news, I've got the onboard cameras working temporarily again. Now hopefully, game, it's going to let me have these throughout the rest of the film as we go inside then with Rob Schaller, as he of course running the Aquapax Racing helmet, of course, with the RedBull sponsors on as well. And it's always lovely to see all the drivers going at it up and down the field. And we've seen some action at the first thing as Skull that Ethan is washed. Well, maybe he is, but of course he kept it in track limits more than you did, Mr. Lewis Edwards. So there's always that one. He kept it in track limits more. So there's always a potential for something to come later on for you, Sonny Jim. Because I think there was about, was it 4 track limits, and then you started getting penalties. I think I saw a few more than 4 right there. But we'll see. Of course, I'm only here in the commentary box. Normally race, but my racing record seems to be, I am literally washed. So I'm back, I've retired, I'm in the commentary box now, and I might stay here. As Rob Adams being told that we are under qualifying conditions right now then, so he hopefully will get a few laps in for him as I go and quickly take a small drink. So back in a second. And we are back then as we ride and, well, we watch Katinas, the man who finished second in race 1, hopefully going for more glory then in race 2. The first car to cross the line is not going to be a, I believe, competitive lap time because it's out lap. So I believe the next to cross the line it will be, just having a look to see who it is. I think it might be Joseph Willows who crossed the line right now to finish his first lap time. Splash there was 1:39.9. 5/10 back Joseph Willows. You got Rob then, purple sector 2 it looks like, to come through the last corner. And let's see what the Benton and Hedges Jordan can do. It's 6 up the road then. So far, road across the line P2. What about Lewis Edwards? Where is he? Is he actually on the circuit? Is the question. There he is. Now he is. Half the qualifying gone. He's got to get himself a lap time on the board right now with no rain forecast for the race. Some of these drivers did get winters and wets just in case. But that's not going to matter too much because we have got Adam Piper on provisional pole. The lap time starting to come down right now then. Here in Austria as you come down into turn number 1 is now next across the line will be looking at potentially Ash Sharp then to cross the line next. And let's see what he can do. He says bye-bye police on the rear end, of course. But the question is, what can you do then as he comes down into the last couple of corners? And can he get himself up near the front of the grid? The last corner he comes, and a little bit wide again for him, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. Let's see where he can go. Hope for a top 5. Go second so far. That's a decent lap time from Aslo. A little bit of track limit exploring into turn number 1. Gets the job done though, and I suppose if it works, I guess. Next up, we're going to see, I believe, we've just got Splash Cross Line in 4th. We've got Ethan currently coming for the last corner as well. As currently on the front row of the grid then, so far to date. Through comes Ethan then into the last corner. Ahead of him, Showler. Let's see where Graham can go. Will dearly love to be on the front row of the grid. Can't quite do it. Stays in 5th. What can Lewis Edwards do? Meanwhile, he's flashing. He's getting out of the way so far. He's not setting a lap time so far. Rob Mark 2 so far. That mean on the time goes P1. Just over a 10th and a bit then ahead of Adam Piper, who's off the track then himself. And is he going to improve and try and take that one back? Yes, he does, by 4/10 of a second with some track limits as well. So, I don't think track limits were being looked at in qualifying, but a lot of them are using it, it seems. As we look now to see who next to cross the line, it will be Ash, who's a second down on his lap time. So next up, that will be, of course, STM Katinas, STM Splash, as he is actually known, of course, or Katinas, I don't know how to pronounce his first name, still sorry, but I still don't know how to pronounce your name. Medingus? I think it's Medingus Katinas. I don't know anymore, I'm just going to call him Katinas. As he comes through then the last corner, and let's see what he can do. Keeps it in track limits as he now dives it into turn number 10. Keeps himself within track limits just about, though never mind, he goes wide as well. Another car to the left, and let's see what he can do. Would love to be on the front row. Does go on the front row then, but 4 and a bit temps down then on your pole sitter as you now look to see, I believe, Lewis Edwards to begin his outlap so far. We have got 7 minutes to go then in qualifying. One car very wide at turn number 1. That is Ash then, who is parked in at turn number 1 temporarily. Rob crosses the line right now in 5th. Ethan across the line, it stays in 6th. John Thompson comes up to the line right now. Let's see what Thompson can do. He stays in 7th. No one seemingly able to improve so far as Adam Piper, taking all the track limits and a little bit more again then. So Adam really taking track limits to their advantage then here in qualifying. Doesn't improve again, but needs to be careful, doesn't keep running wide there, because I mean, even though track limits I don't believe are looked at qualifying, it is still using track limits quite a lot there, and you never know, he might get himself in a bit of trouble for exceeding track limits constantly in qualifying. I've seen it before. Lewis Edwards, meanwhile, he'll be the man who certainly would love to be on the front row of this grid. The man who is, well, he started last race at the front and he won the last race. Is he going to go at the front row of the grid? Well, no, not if he does that. No, certainly not if you do that, sunshine. Off the road he goes, and I tell you what, he's running out of time. I don't think he's going to get a lap in. Must be careful rejoining the circuit as well. I don't think Lewis is going to get another lap in. With a lap time, it's over 1.5 minutes. He's got 1.5 minutes to go. He will not set a lap time here then, so he will start at minimum on the back row of the grid. Adam Piper looks to be on the front row with Katinas. Then comes Rob Adams in 3rd so far. Ash has become a hill in 4th. Rob Shall across the line. Does he improve? Yes, he does. Up into 4th position. Rotary across the line. Does he improve? No, he doesn't. He'll start at a minimum of 6th then. What about Thompson? This is crucial for him. Goes up the order. Goes into only 6th. Joseph Willows will not set a lap time. Lewis Edwards will not improve. Adam Piper looks like then a pole position then, with some cheeky track limits for his name, because his first lap was within track, track limit violated. Very much so. Will start then on pole position here in stereo then for race number 2. Splash will not get to the line, I do believe. With 10 minutes, we're waiting on the clock. Let's see if he would have been up at all. He was up by 2 tenths a second. He's got about 20 seconds to go. Let's see, can Splash do anything? Has he got enough time with? He's got 10 and a bit seconds. I think he's got about 15 seconds to get to the line. Plus or minus that little countdown. I don't think he's going to get there. Through the last corner he comes. Has he got enough time to get to the line? Let's see, there's the countdown. It should just end around about now. Does improve, can't do enough though. So he'll start there, and that is qualifying. All but certainly done, and indeed it is. So then, Adam on pole, Katinas on the front row. We'll have 5 red lights ahead of the drivers for the second time. Then Robin third, Robin fourth, Ass ahead of John, Ethan ahead of Joseph. Then comes slowly Mr. Wasp down the back as we now get ready for those 5 red lights. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And for the second time today, look, but never stare, because we are underway and we are off. Adam Piper there gets a good start. Yet again, then off the front row of the grid is Katina's able to go through this time. Still can't quite do it. Katina's having a terrible start in this race up the inside there. Looks like a bit of contact between Rob and Rob then. Into turn 1, there's a bit of a kerfuffle at turn number 1 as well. Adam Piper holds the line. I think everyone, like, critically gets themselves off the order. All good and fair then as we come down into 2. And are we going to see immediately Adam Piper lose that race lead? Oh, contact there, and that's a big off. And who is that? That is AXR, Rob Groot there, Rob Schowler, having all sorts of problems. Smoke billowing out of the Jordan as he's been sent spinning around. And no idea what happened there. There's more contact there. Oh, there's a big off there. Mother of good gracious me. Adam Piper with a monster accident. And what on earth there, as Rob Adams now leads then here in Austria, as it looked like Atina's there getting at the side and all sorts of lag going on here. And surely this must be some issue there, as it's lagging like absolute crazy then. So far, but Adam Piper in trouble, Rob Schowler in trouble, Rob Adams leads then here today, and I have no idea what happened there. No idea whatever so happened. There was contact in a straight line. It might have been that. We've seen it before. As out the inside, more smoke getting kicked up there as Ash Sharp going up the outside. And there is a lot of lag going on here. As everyone, I think they slightly settled down. Oh, never mind, 2 wheeling slightly as they all twitching. I tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised here if there's any incident. At least could get a restart here. It is a little bit twitchy. I think potentially they have cooled down ever so slightly. Is now up the inside. Ethan Graham looks for the inside then on Katinas. Gets the job done. Yes, he does. He got the car stopped. Yes, he has. Then the Simbreg liveried car. Then a beautiful livery, I must say. Up into second position. Though, let's see, is Katina's going to come back up the inside again. He is. He's not going to go and sit back and relax and let these guys know he is going to sit back and relax. Len's outside line potentially coming Lewis Edwards. He came from the back of the grid already up into 4th position. Has he got the job done though as he goes to the inside line there of Katinas? Yes, he has. And next up is Ethan Graham, and these two have had a history of coming together before and having a little bit of close quarters. Let's see what they can do, but Lewis will be careful he doesn't get himself track limit violated again here today. Meanwhile, Rob down the back then with Adam Artlo's 2 misfortunes then on the opening lap of this race. We'll have to see what happened later on. Of course, unfortunately, no replay options available for us. As looking to the inside, there's been a bit of contact as Lewis Edwards into the side and forces Ethan Graham off the road and leads to, I said they've had a history of coming together. Add another one to the list. There was definitely contact there. And that might be interesting to see as up the inside. Oh, there's more contact. And Lewis Edwards, where is he? Well, he's been forced off. He's taken it completely flat out. And that might be track limit violations. I don't know. Meanwhile, as As Sharp comes through and gets into 4th position. We're on lap 3 of 12 is now. Kitina's back up the inside then as he got the job done. No, thinks better. Robert sits back now as there. John Thompson again running off the track as Adam Piper and Rob Showler go battle at the back of the order. But it's Rob Mark II, then Rob Adams leads this race from Lewis Edwards, with Ethan now in 3rd after those two slightly coming together just a few laps ago. Up the inside, as looking, can't quite do it though. Again, the cameras don't like me, they've broken again. But there is Joseph Willows looking at the back of Al Sharp, who's looking on the back of Splash respectively as well as these guys all do battle. I think just about keeping themselves on the circuit as well, especially if you're a little bit on the gravel, but keep himself all in good nick. Now we see Rob Mark II going to be chased down by Lewis Edwards. He needs to be careful about track limits as he's keeping himself a bit more track limits here today. Of course, he was very much outside of track limits a few times in race 1, but this time definitely looks like he's keeping it a little bit more within respectable limits. Then as he comes down into turn number 1, and as long as he doesn't go skating off the road, he should be fine. I think a little bit wide, less wide than you for that. So I think they're just about keeping each other in good spirits. We can now come up to the midway point of this race. As now you can see Rob Shannon ahead of Adam Piper. And I tell you what, Adam, who I feel so sorry for, got pole, ended up in the wall in the opening lap. No idea what happened, but goodness me, it was a monumental strike. Head first into the Armco barrier. And that was the end of his chance for P1, because I don't think he's getting himself back into it so far. This race looks like it's going to be a battle between Rob Mark II and Lewis Edwards then. So Adams versus Edwards, with Graham and Thompson along the order. Then comes Sharp ahead of Willows, with Thompson ahead of Showler and Piper down the back. I might say apologies there, I misread that. It was Katinas in 4th, not Thompson. I'm so used to seeing the blue there, normally run by John Thompson, but it's Katinas who's running the, well, I'm going to say the almost but not quite Golf livery. It's the STP livery in very beautiful colours so far. Lewis Edwards a little bit wide. That might be a track limit violation for him. He must be careful doesn't pick up too many more of them here today, because he's picked up 1 or 2 so far. Purple lap time for him, 6/10 of a gap now to your race leader. As into turn number 1, bit twitchy there for the pair of them. Ethan again having a bit of trouble as he lifts off the front, I think ever so slightly on the exit as well. Revs out the car for good measure, so a little bit of mistake, but you do it occasionally. That's fine, do it many times. I guess not quite so fun as I found out last week with my ingenious mistake techniques, which clearly worked wonders for me. A bit wide there for Lewis Edwards, but still keeps it within the confines of the gravel trap. Down the field, we've still got about between Ash Sharp, Willows and Thompson. Then we've got Group not too far behind. Then he's still got a chance if he's got the pace to come into these guys, especially if these guys start to do battle, of course. Ash running the Red Bull inspired livery, of course, here at the Red Bull Ring. Like I said, used to be known as the Austria Height Ring, of course, back in the olden days, of course, up until the late 80s, of course, and then, of course, went on to redevelopment and then came back as the A1 GP, as it more commonly is known, of course, if you remember back in the 90s to 2000s. More commonly now known as the RedBull Ring, and it's good to see it staying on then for the longest period I think it stayed in its history. As Sharp there, not having an opportunity to be overtaken so far. As I say that, Joseph Willows, is he going to have a dive up to turn number 1? Yes, he is. Gets the job done. Yes, he does. Goes wide. Yes, he does. Loses position as well. Yes, he does. Loses 2 positions. Yes, he will. I tell you what, is that's going to lose 2 positions. He's going to have the inside line then. It's going to force Thompson the long way around the outside. It'll be brave stuff to see, as meanwhile, I looked to the front there, thought for a second I saw a potential move potentially between those guys as they don't. Ash there, parking the car absolutely fine, and he still can't get past. Does Thompson, stays back then, 49.000 for him. 3 times the gap, meanwhile, between these top 2. It is Adams versus Edwards. As they run down the hill again, slightly dropping Ethan, it looks like right now. He just seems to not have the pace. Here's Edwards, though, going for a last, the first challenge. That is the question. Is he got any opportunity to make a manoeuvre then round the outside, around the inside? What he'll do is he'll force him to the outside line. He won't give him the inside line. Surely he has given the inside line. That's a mistake, but can't quite do it, though. A bit of smoke kicked up on the exit as they come through. Both of them there very much keeping themselves within the confines of the racetrack this lap, as well as that corner as well, as they are starting to get to the end stage of this race. You're on lap 7 then of 12 with what, just under 6 and a bit laps to go. Then here in Austria. And let's see, Edwards almost on the grass, now goes to the left, tried to go to the right, couldn't quite do it. Has to go to the long way around then. Is he going to think of a manoeuvre? No, he's not. Is Rob Mark II gone too deep? Yes, he has. And through goes Edwards then. That is the mistake that he wanted him to do. And Adams there, Rob Adams, makes the mistake and goes too deep. And that is Lewis up into first position. And Rob Adams down in a second. Ethan Graham in third, ahead of Katinas in fourth. Meanwhile, here up the inside of Joseph Willows, then on the break, Ada Sharp on the outside line. Tries to think about a move up the inside, can't quite do it. And I'm wondering what's happened to John Thompson here, because he's dropped right down the order. Down into last position. He's having a torrid time right now of things, isn't he? Can't seem to catch a break. Didn't have much luck in race 1. Certainly hasn't kept much luck in race 2. And he finds himself last right now. Fast lap, meanwhile, is Mr. Slowly. He is leading this race as well. He's got that gap now up to 0.8 of a second. He is the man on the mission, as long as he doesn't start using track limits. Never mind. As further down, we'll keep an eye on this a little battle here. We've got a little battle here between Sharp and Willows, and Schauler now getting into this little trio, as well as Schauler going for the inside line on Ash Sharp. No, he's not. Knows better of it so far. Hold your chickens, count them for the time being, and see if you can get yourself past Willows. Never mind, because here comes Schauler, and he's going to get one. Might have an opportunity to get 2. Let's see. They're going to make it 3 abreast then into the braking zone. It's going to be brave stuff. And let's see. To the inside line goes Schauler. Got 1 a minute ago. We'll get 2. A little bit of contact there, as I think it might have been a bit of lag actually. As Willows goes a bit deeper. Could have been contact there between him and Ash, but I'm not quite so certain if it was. It might have been a little bit of like twitchy lag. So the inside line goes. Ash Sharp, does he get the inside line? Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yes, yes, but no, because now the other can now shout out the inside line for the corner. Surely Ash can't go around the outside line. That'll be outstanding stuff. Round the outside. Go on, Ashley. Round the outside. Has he got the job done? They're still side by side. No, couldn't quite do it there. And sit back then into position. Ethan, meanwhile, has been demoted down to 4th. I'm wondering if there's been some incident there, because he was right up behind. Meanwhile, Rob Mark II's got himself back into the lead of this race as they go side by side across the line. And now let's see. Lewis going to go to the inside line, turn number 1. Lap number 9 of 12 does think better of it this time around, though. That's a little bit twitchy on the exit of turn number 1. And can't quite do it either. And he now come up the hill into turn number 2, into 3. Lewis going to go to the dive up the inside. Yes, he is. Does he get the car stopped? Yes, he does, but the outside line presents itself to Rob Adams, who will get a better exit as a result of taking the more of the outside line. Of course, get the power on and straighten the car up a little bit more than Edwards. And now he has to sit back again. Is he going to think of move up the inside into turn number 4 now? He's going to think of it. He's going to go for it. Again, no, can't quite do it. Has to back out again. Rob Adams holding his line firm and fair. And the number 3, he might be the number 3, but he was certainly right now. He's the number 1 on the order as Edwards there. A bit of grass and a bit of gravel kicked up, but still using all the might he's got in the cut just to be able to keep it in the order. And now we're going to see any potential manoeuvres into the last corner. Again, Edwards has been frowning this every couple of times. He's just trying to put Rob Adams under a bit of a mistake here. He's trying to force him to concede a line, make a defensive manoeuvre which will make him go wide, and then Edwards can take that line to go to the outside line. But he wants to be careful he doesn't throw the car off the road whilst doing it as well. 1.6 seconds behind his Catinas. He's not in this battle so far, but there's still a couple of laps to go. Still 3 laps out of 12, with meaning we have 12 ahead of us still to come. As now still trying to go to the out to the in, and still can't quite do it. Let's see. Left or right? Which way are you going to go then, Edwards? Neither. He's going to think better of it this time. Means you go to the outside line to try and get a better exit. He just needs to find a bit of time. But behind him, look at Catinas here. He's really caught up on these guys. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be thinking ever. Rob Mark II could be backing Lewis up a little bit here. He certainly is trying, because here we go. Lewis to the outside line, and that's late braking stuff then. To the outside line, it's going to be brave stuff to hold it right around the outside there. As he gets a little bit on the grass, a little bit on the curb. He still has a potential then. He doesn't quite do it now then. He's slots in behind then into 5. The outside line, let's see if we're going to see each other, give each other enough room. Just about, but Edwards then is going to be the man. He's going to be forced outside then, because surely he's not going to be able to keep around the outside here. He's going to be forced a little bit wide. He's got enough there to keep the inside then. Into 7, into 8 then. And this is magnificent stuff then. Into the last corner. And Edwards. Now, is there problems? No, there isn't. He's into the lead then. And that's exactly what you need to do then. Here on lap 10 is 2 become 3 into the last corner. As these guys do battle then. As we begin the penultimate lap then. Here in Austria. A bit twitchy again there from Rob Mark II. Still can't get the power on though. He thinks of it, and now what he's got to do is dummy him. He's got to try and dummy him. Force him to go one way and then drive up the inside. That's what I'd have done. But normally when I do that, I make a mistake. It's going to go around the outside, and Lewis is going to be bread of Robert. He's going to brake late. Oh, there's going to be contact. Oh no! And there's contact there between Catinas and And that is Rob Adams there, my apologies. Contact between those two, and that's all just going to allow Edwards to have the initiative, to have the gap and pull away. There was contact, but Edwards there tipping a wheel on the grass as well for good measure. He needs to be careful not to do too many of them as well, because he's still always an opportunity to throw it away. Any of these drivers can make a mistake, but this has been fantastic racing throughout the field. But it can only be won by run. And so far, it's going the way of the Dudley. And that is of Edwards. Behind them, Rob Mark II. He's still got a lap to go. He's still got an opportunity if he can do it. But that small battle there, that small bit of contact with Splash, might have just cost him any potential for a win here. Lewis started on the back row of the grid. He'll have 1 lap to go. 1 lap to prove himself. 1 lap to see what he can do. And let's see what he certainly can do. Ethan there looks like he'll be in 4th position. Schauler then, Adam Piper is in 6th now. Wow. Track limits, sunshine. Track limits, my friend. I don't know where they were, but they weren't there. Meanwhile, these guys, he's on the grass. Rob Adams almost on the grass there. As he looks to the inside, this is the opportunity he's looking for. And they're almost going to make it 3 abreast. They almost do. Into the brakes, inside, outside, they touch, and slowly off the road, slightly wide, as now they'd see they're almost going to make it free abreast again on the exit. They'd see, as Rob Adams got the opportunity to go up the inside, Edwards in the lead then of this race. Katina's there behind, Lewis still holds the line, but they'd see, looking at the inside, they almost touch. They have touched, I think, as Edwards in the gravel. He is in the gravel. They've come a cropper. Katina's on the last lap of the race will lead then here in Austria, and you'll never see anything like it. Edwards tapped there, I potentially it must have been Rob Mark 2, as Katina's now off the road. My goodness! Edwards back into the lead, and it's turning and turning throughout this race, and in the space of 2 laps, Lewis is off the road, and now he's leading again. And then what a fantastic final lap. Lewis Edwards will come through the last corner. He'll hardly believe it. Through he comes into the last right. As long as he keeps it in track limit, which he just about does, Lewis Edwards will come from last to first in a fantastic battle. Rob Adams in second, Katinas in third, Rotary in fourth, Souther in fifth, Adam Piper off the road in seventh. I don't think he'll mind. As though it's almost going to be a tail. Oh, God! And there, contact on the line, and what fantastic racing. But Lewis Edwards, for the second time on the top step of the podium here in Austria, but what fantastic battling throughout this race, from ups and downs, from drama to excitement, throughout this race, we have seen some incredible racing. But that has been that. And I have been Mr. Evil Dragon. My voice has gone. I'm going to save the replay before, of course, we lose the lobby. And until next time, I have been Evil. We will hopefully be seeing potentially your usual host back next week. But until then, take care. I've been Evil, and see you soon.